Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, why isn't it worth it to buy March of the Machine, the Aftermath? There are many possible answers to that question. You may be shouting some of them at your computer screen right now. Answers such as, there's only 5 cards in each booster pack, or the cards aren't very good. Possibly your objections are because the set is supposed to be a story epilogue, but there's next to no story or even flavor text. Maybe you have ethical objections to the fact that Wizards of the Coast literally sent the Pinkertons to a YouTuber's house to threaten him, make his wife cry, and then go harass his neighbors. A gross overstep for a private corporation upon the rights of the individual. An abuse of both money and power. Or maybe you just don't play Standard anymore. But while all of these answers have validity to them, this video will focus on the reasons why it is not worth it to buy Aftermath as it relates to financial value, of which there is none, and as it relates to the quality of the overall product, of which there is very little. I want to stress that all of the reasons listed in the introduction just now are still valid, but this video will focus its evaluation on the 2 key points I just mentioned. Let's take a look, shall we? But first, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, PayPal Honey. You know, I always do my best to shop at my local brick-and-mortar stores, especially my local brick-and-mortar game stores. But when my local stores don't have what I need, I end up shopping online. That's when I'm happy that I have Honey. Honey is the #1 shopping tool in America. It's a tool you can add to your browser for free using my link, joinhoney.com/Tolarian. Honey automatically searches for promo codes and then applies them to the items you are already going to buy from some of your favorite websites, saving you money with very little effort. I gotta admit, it's pretty fun to be about to pick something up online and then see the savings get applied. I don't want you to spend more than you need to, so take advantage of this free tool and start saving money today. If this sounds good to you, don't just go to joinhoney.com, go to my link at joinhoney.com/Tolarian to support this channel. As always, I am grateful for your support and grateful for Honey for sponsoring this video. Let's begin with value. There is none. Aftermath is a micro set of only 50 cards. As a result, Aftermath's booster packs contain only 5 cards each. Despite the smaller size, the price per booster pack is relatively close to that of a standard draft booster. While a booster box of Aftermath might cost less, currently selling at around $80, that booster box only contains 24 booster packs. That means the price per booster pack comes to $3.33. This is, of course, when you buy in bulk. Individual over-the-counter packs will likely cost more. A draft booster box sells on average between $100 and $110, and that's per box of 36 packs. So even at the higher price of $110 per box, you're still only paying $3.05 per booster pack, meaning that Aftermath booster packs are actually selling for more than the average draft booster of a new set. That is especially outrageous when, again, Aftermath booster packs contain only 5 cards each and cannot be drafted with. It's also worth noting that the $80 price tag I worked with just now is the result of many stores essentially selling their boxes at cost. In speaking with many local game store owners, the cost per box likely should have been more around the $100 per booster box level, give or take. At that price, our evaluation changes even more dramatically towards Aftermath booster packs being more expensive than draft booster packs. A wild strategy considering these are just standard cards that easily could have been a part of a regular set, the previous set, for example. Aftermath also comes in collector booster packs, which are selling for $200 per booster box of 12 packs of 6 cards each. I shall repeat that because it bears repetition. $200 for 12 6-card boosters of standard. While these are indeed selling for a bit less than standard collector booster boxes, the fact that they only have 1 more card per pack than a standard Aftermath booster is just wild. No, I'm sorry, but that is incorrect, because once you factor in the multiple treatments, the multiple versions of these 50 cards, you end up with a number of total possible card versions on par with a regular standard set. Rarity is not just the color on the set symbol of the card, but rather it is the frequency that card appears within booster packs of a set. And with the level of different versions of cards that are available in Aftermath, some of these versions will occur much more commonly, others more uncommonly, others more rare, and others mythic entirely. Just because the cards are not marked as common does not mean that within the greater pool of cards, there is not a common frequency of occurrence. I am not going to break down the card distribution, as it would be an entire 20-minute video just trying to explain what treatments are available and where. Suffice it to say that if you look at every possible version of all 50 cards of Aftermath, then distributed between booster packs are a total of 230 different cards. That's kind of on par with the number of individual cards in a standard set. And while obviously standard sets today have their own multiple treatments of cards available, it's worth noting that those at least come in 15 card packs. But I think it's time we really get to the root of the issue: financial value. I want to start by cutting out all of those special treatments and just looking at the base set. If you were to buy one of each of the 50 cards, not all 230 different styles, but just one of each card in this set, no special treatments, just how much would you expect to spend? $150. That's it. That's little more than the price of a booster box, and certainly less than the price of a collector booster box. Again, many of these cards have special treatments that are selling for more than that of their base style, but many of those treatments are only available in collector booster packs, while the others simply appear much more infrequently. Looking at the base set, only 11 cards are worth more than the cost of a pack, with only 7 cards within those worth more than double the price. Almost all of the value here is concentrated at the mythic level, and once you go below the price of a pack, you find an overwhelming 27 out of 50 cards worth less than $1. It's important that I point out all of my pricing is coming from pre-sale pricing, taken in aggregate from various online marketplaces, but pre-sale pricing nonetheless. With rare exception, pre-sale prices tend to be much higher than the value of a card at launch. And while there's always exceptions and no one can predict the future, I highly suspect that as of the day you are watching this video, launch day, all of my prices for cards listed in this video will be much higher than their reality. In other words, I think prices are going to tank as soon as we get out of pre-sale. I'm sorry, but half of the cards in this set are only worth $1 or less? Why are cards priced so low? Part 2. Great new cards for Paper Brawl. The biggest thing I note about Aftermath is how these cards appear to be largely designed for Commander, yet this is a standard supplemental set. While obviously Commander is the center of Magic the Gathering now, and thus cards are designed for it in all sets, from standard sets to Modern Horizons, what is further perplexing is just how few of these cards designed for Commander look to be, well, all that great in Commander. Obviously, legendary cards always have a home, as even weak, weird, or janky legendary creatures can lead to interesting and fun brews. But as I discussed in detail in my video about the best new cards for Commander for the 99 from Aftermath, most of the cards in this set are just not up to par with what already exists in Commander. It's why I have joked that it's less like these cards are designed for Commander, and more that they seem to have been designed for Paper Brawl, a format that is essentially Commander, but only using standard legal cards. Don't worry, Paper Brawl is not real, it cannot harm you. While I don't think that is the reality of the situation, likely they were just being overly cautious in the card designs, it is really unfortunate that neither Standard nor Commander seem to be particularly interested in much from this micro set. Recently, Wizards of the Coast announced changes to standard rotation in an attempt to revitalize the format, but the missing component in that announcement is a dynamic, carefully tuned micro set. Now, if this change to rotation had been announced alongside Aftermath and here's the tricky part, and Aftermath was introducing 50 new cards to Standard that legit would shake the format up, then you might have a stew going. Many have pointed to other card games, such as Pokemon TCG, and the fact that these other card games often sell booster packs with only a few cards in them too. But what those games try and do with their micro or blister packs is where Aftermath fails. They are usually used as a way to sell and distribute specific cards of note to the player base, be they a particularly powerful card in need of a reprint, a new and needed addition to the game's meta, or a commemorative collectible. And while I suppose one could argue Aftermath comes closest to that latter, it still misses the mark. I was watching a different YouTube channel the other day where somebody expressed a really clever idea about how Aftermath could have been sold as half a dozen or so small collection supplements, similar perhaps to the old signature spellbooks. But instead of focusing on a planeswalker in color, they would each focus on a specific plane. So the idea being that you might buy an 8-card collection set on Ravnica, showing the aftermath of the Phyrexian invasion and complete with high treatment versions of cards, cool utilities on those cards, flavor text, maybe even a story supplement insert, fleshing out the worlds, giving players flavor to savor, and most of all, not trying to min-max with these weird 5-card booster packs where it's like a loot box, you don't know what you're getting, but instead a set, known collection of cards unified by a single plane. Fantastic video. I'll link it in this one's description. Go check it out. Oh, give that person, whoever they are, a sub. Part 3. Homelands or Dragon's Maze? One thing that I have not addressed yet is a concern that what if 1 to 2 cards from this set, against all odds, become format staples, be it in Standard or elsewhere. A very common example of this is the set Dragon's Mage, which was very unpopular. Boxes were selling for well under MSRP. Yes, Wizards used to have an MSRP, but then Voice of Resurgence became a format staple. And because it was already a mythic and there was already a very low supply of opened Dragon's Maze product, prices skyrocketed. While Voice of Resurgence would have probably always cost a pretty penny due to its format ubiquity, the fact that Dragon's Maze was so unpopular and so unopened is attributed to increasing the price as well. If that does happen here, and I think it unlikely, I urge you to keep in mind that the value is both artificial and likely fleeting. As also happened with Voice of Resurgence, a reasonable reprint was all it took to bring the card back down to earth, and this once $40 and up card is now available for a mere $2 a pop. Buy singles. Final conclusion, March of the Machine, the Aftermath, is not worth it. The 5-card booster packs are overpriced, and the cards themselves are underwhelming. An absolute barrage of too many card versions makes the set convoluted and difficult to parse. Probably intentionally so, as to obfuscate the real problems with this 50-card micro set. With many stores unloading their product at cost, there might be some deals to be had. But even then, the best use of your cash is very likely just to buy the singles you are interested in. I reserve failed grades for only the biggest of grievances. Failing a product is not something I do lightly, nor is it something I've actually done all too often in my channel's history. While I did strongly consider placing this in the D for do not buy category, in looking at other D products over the years, it is my evaluation that Aftermath has more in common with the failures than the duds. And in looking at this set as a Magic the Gathering product, it absolutely failed to accomplish even one of its goals. I hope very much this video has been of some help to you. Are you indeed looking to buy singles from Aftermath? Want to know what the best ones for Commander are? I did a whole video going over the top new cards from Aftermath for Commander, and well, it was slim pickings, I'll be honest with you, but if you are looking to just buy those singles for your Commander decks, you might want to check out that video and see what's worth at least eyeballing? Hey, thanks once again to PayPal Honey for sponsoring this video. Remember, Honey automatically searches for promo codes when you're shopping online and then applies those codes to the items you were already going to buy. It all equals savings, and best of all, it's free. So if you're interested in giving that a try, don't just go to joinhoney.com, go to my link at joinhoney.com/Tolarian, because you'll be helping the channel out when you do. As always, I'm grateful for your support and, of course, to Honey for sponsoring this video.
The season finale of Shuffle Up and Play.
Secret Commanders. Each of my guests has brought a commander deck, but none of us know, and we will not know until we cast that commander during the game for the first time.
Legitimately looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh board. Like,
Yeah, we brought
face down, cards, side.
It's all very clean.
Bissell Persecutor. This is a 6/6 flying trample. You can't win the game and your opponents can't lose the game. Sovereigns in the skies.
Sovereigns in the
Now
skies.
you got
Can
it.
we take my mic off? I think I need to get
Called
rid of this.
Liar's Pendulum for 1 mana. I told you, I brought riddles.
It's absurd.
I feel like I'm trapped in an Escher painting. In that case, feast your eyes on.
No.